Hello, this is Javin with AudioMediaProductionService.com. Today I want to go ahead and cover the Behringer X32's config/preamp section, and I want to talk a little bit about gain structure. To start out, we're going to hit the view button underneath the config/preamp section. On the fat channel, we have a phantom power switch, we have a polarity reverse switch, we have a gain knob, we actually have a meter for the gain. We have a low cut, and we have a low cut knob so we can select up to 400 hertz. Moving over to the screen, we have a link button. So if you wanted to link two channels or two faders on the console, you could do it here. For example, if I wanted to link channels 9 and 10, I would select 9. And it is in odd, even increments, so you can't select even odd increments. So you would have to do 9 and 10. You couldn't do 10 and 11. So you would select channel 9, go up to the far left knob up here, hit the link button. It'll ask you, are you sure you want to link channels 9 and 10? Go ahead and hit yes. And now these two faders on the console are linked. To disengage them, you would just go ahead and hit that button one more time, and now these faders aren't linked anymore. The screen does mirror image what the fat channel section has, but it has a little bit more features on it. Up top we have the gain, we have a low cut, and then next to that we have a source. The source allows you to pick any input from either the back of the board or your AES-50 and Cat5 stage boxes on a per channel basis. In the routing section of the Behringer X32, you can also do that there, but it does it in blocks of 8. So if you want to do it on a per channel basis, this is where you need to go. You need to select the channel you want to work on, and then you go to the source underneath the config/preamp section, and then choose the input that you would want for that specific fader. What I actually do when I set up my console, I'll have channels 1 through 16 as a monitor console, and then channels 17 through 32. They repeat my inputs on the config screen 1 through 16 again, and then that's my front of house section of my board. That allows me to put the console into two consoles, one for monitors, one for front of house, and I put my outputs as post EQ, so now I have channel EQs in the monitors. It allows me to make better monitor mixes for the musicians. For example, say the guitar player thinks his acoustic guitar is way too boomy in the monitor, but his vocal sounds great. In the past, like on an analog console, we'd have just a graphic EQ over the whole entire mix. If I was to change that graphic EQ, I pretty much changed the vocal, but now his acoustic sounds good. But now his vocal doesn't sound so good. So having the console into two consoles like that and having channel EQs for the monitors, I could actually go to the channel, the acoustic channel, and EQ out the boominess that he's hearing. And so both instruments will sound great in his monitor. And that's why I do it. With a board like this, you are able to do that. In the past, you would have to have a monitor engineer and two consoles to be able to do that. Moving on, we have a delay section underneath the screen. You can actually delay every channel at this section. So if you wanted to time align, say, an overhead mic to the snare drum, you could do that there. We have an insert position. So you can insert internal effects from the Behringer X32 here, and you can set it post insert or pre-insert on that section, and that covers the screen underneath the config/preamp section. To talk about gain structure a little bit, one thing you want to do when you're setting your gain up is to make sure your fader's in a usable position. If you have the gain way too hot, it's going to force your fader down to -20, -30 decimals, and just in a little bit of movement down here is actually a lot of sound movement. So that's a lot more decimals. Just a little movement here is 10 decimals from 30 to 20. If you're up in a usable position like -5 or 0, a little bit of movement is actually more fine-tuned. So instead of plus 10 decimals, you move the fader, it's actually plus 5. So you have more control in these positions. Best way to set up your gain is to follow it backwards. So put your faders in the positions you want them to see them at, and follow it backwards. Go ahead and have the gain all the way off, and then have them hit their drum, the kick drum, for example, and then turn up the gain to where it's clipping, and then you can back it off a little bit to force your fader in the position you want. If you want more information on gain structure, Dave Rat has a lot of really good videos. He's the Red Hot Chili Pepper sound guy. He's done sound for Soundgarden, and he's kind of one of my idols, and this is a guy that I look up to a lot, and he has a YouTube channel and a lot of good information on there. If you like the videos that I'm doing, please subscribe to my channel, and if you have any comments or questions, go ahead and leave a comment down below underneath the video. Thanks. Bye.